Good morning, everybody. My name is Don Rath, Rath Associates, and we'd like to welcome you to our webinar this morning on combustion analysis. Combustion analysis continues to be one of our most popular courses we give, and by today's attendance, we're very happy everyone's on board. Ken Resnick, who will be doing the presentation, is our Director of Training and Technical Support. Many of you have been to Ken's classes here at our training center. Have been able to talk to him for all sorts of troubleshooting issues, not only with our products, but Ken is always helpful with everyone. So without further ado, Ken, you want to start?
Yes, thank you, Don. Good morning, everybody. So as Don said, we're going to be doing a presentation as a webinar for you this morning on TPI, which is Test Products International. And we're going to basically talk about electronic combustion analyzers that TPI has for us. What I'd like you to do first is just take a look at the first screen. You'll see that there's all of our information from Rath Associates with the phone number and all of our contact information, including rathassociates.com website, info@Rath Associates for any info that you may need, and also support for any technical support that we can help with for all of our products. So what I'd like everybody to do is two things. You'll be noticing that I put up a navigation screen. So on the right side of your screen, you should be seeing a small box that has those available to click on, where it says type questions here and retrieve handouts. Since everybody has been muted to stop all the confusion of one stepping on the other, you can certainly add any questions in at any time. We probably won't answer the questions during the webinar broadcast until the very, very end. We're not going anywhere. We are going to stay around to answer all of your questions. So feel free to type those questions there. Underneath that, you'll see retrieve handouts here. We've set up a handout for you, which is the TPI Combustion Summer 2020 catalog. So you can click on that where it says retrieve handouts here. And you can download that, you can print that. Just very quickly, I'd like for everybody or if you can hear me, just type in a question saying, yes, can hear you. And then we'll move on just to make sure that we're broadcasting properly. Okay, great. Looks like we're doing well. It looks like everybody that should hear us is hearing us, and that's terrific. So let's get started. So as I said, the handouts are there, the TPI Summer Catalog. You're going to click on handouts and you can print that or save that. You can also get that catalog through us, and it's also available through our website. So let's get going. We're going to talk about combustion. Combustion is something that I like to refer to as the invisible facts, because you can't see what's happening prior to combustion. You can only get to see that flame later on. So combustion analyzers are of utmost importance to see what the parameters are for fuel and maybe air. So as I've always said, if you don't test, you don't know. And if you don't know, then you're working with fire, literally. Properties of combustion. As we know, for anything to light, be it a match, be it a Bic lighter, be it your lawnmower, your car, anything that works internal combustion, there are three necessary components of combustion. First one being a fuel source. That fuel source can be liquid, can be solid, can be anything that when mixed with air can become combustible. So here I've put in parentheses, as you see, gas, oil, coal, wood, and etc. One of our more important properties is air, and air is made up of many different chemicals, including oxygen. The oxygen is what we always refer to. But in a slide coming up, you're going to see what's actually in our air. Don't want to scare you, but there are a lot of things in our air. And then the third one is an ignition source. That ignition source can be spark, hot surface, pilot flame. Today, it's more popular in modern heating equipment to use spark as the ignition source. Years back, we used hot surface, and even earlier than that, we used a pilot flame. Importance about all of those properties of combustion is if any of these components are absent or in the wrong relationship, meaning the amount, you will have, and I wrote may have, but you will have improper combustion or possibly no combustion, meaning no flame at all. And that's what we're here to make sure doesn't happen. We want perfect combustion if we can get it. So what is combustion? The definition of combustion is actually the rapid oxidation of any fuel that will combine readily with oxygen. Don't be confused by that. It is the combustion. Combustion is the rapid oxidation of any fuel. What does rapid oxidation mean? Actually means exhausting that oxygen. So the oxygen or air in combustion is really the most important factor. The three items again: fuel, oxygen or air, ignition and or heat source. And I'm sure you've seen that triangle before. When we do have proper combustion, we're going to be able to expel heat. We're going to take that energy that's released and we're going to bring that in for our use, like in a boiler or a warm air furnace. What makes combustion happen? Fuel. What's in the fuel, basically? And it could be liquid fuel, solid fuel, as I said earlier. That's really the largest amounts are carbon and hydrogen. And what's in our air? The two largest amounts are oxygen and nitrogen. As I mentioned earlier in one of the coming slides, you'll see what else is in our air. So those two combined will give us an output of CO2. CO2 is carbon dioxide. And you'll also notice that I put in there H2O as vapor. There is vapor as H2O as the combination of fuel and air being combusted. That equals our fire. Looking to the right, well, that equals a BTU. What do we really do in our industry? We make fire, we harness that fire, we transfer the energy, which is now known as a BTU, into a boiler, into a warm air furnace, or into any heating source to keep us warm and also to have warm hot water. So that BTU, British Thermal Unit. A BTU is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound. Let's not confuse that. I've heard in class when I've asked this question, some of you will say 1 gallon. Well, it's not. It's 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. So a BTU is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. How do we do the math for that to do the calculation of pounds? So we need to know that water weighs approximately 8.33 pounds per gallon. So we can then calculate that 1 gallon of water would require 8.33 BTUs to raise the temperature 1 degree. So what we've done is we've actually transferred that 1 pound into a gallon by its weight. And now we know how many BTUs are required to raise the temperature of that gallon at that point 1 degree. Those of you in the oil heating industry are a little bit more familiar with this because of nozzles. When we size nozzles for oil burners, we're always looking at what that gallon per hour rate is. And if you look at, funny enough, if you look at the weight of water at 8.33 pounds per gallon, we're going to use basically a 0.85 nozzle in the oil burner industry. So 0.85 relates roughly to that 8.33 BTUs to raise temperature 1 degree. And that's going to be for heat and or domestic hot water. And this is just for some fun that I wanted to add in to show you what the unit values of fuels are in British thermal units. So a kilowatt being electric equals 3,412 BTUs. A therm of natural gas is approximately 100,000 BTUs. The truth of that fact is it's 98,500, but the industry has rounded that off to 100,000. A gallon of propane contains 91,330 BTUs. And that would be for the gallon of propane. I understand that propane is normally delivered and paid for in pounds, but we do that conversion to gallons as well. A gallon of kerosene contains 135,000 BTUs. Gallon of number 2 fuel oil shows heating oil contains 140,000 BTUs. Well, the truth is it's 138,500 BTUs, but again, the industry utilizes 140,000. It's close enough. Pellets have become kind of common in our industry, and a ton of pellets, which is those small wooden round pellets, contains 16,500,000 BTUs for that ton. Cord of wood, air dried, that also contains 20 million BTUs. And here's the winner. A ton of coal contains 28 million BTUs. And that's a ton. I referenced 10 pounds equals 140,000 BTUs, and that would be per hour. Just something interesting for you. Moving on, efficient combustion. What are we really looking for? We're looking for proper combustion. Proper combustion would relate to and equate to efficient combustion. We're all about efficiency. We're all about high efficiency boilers. We'll talk about how we get to that derivative, how we do that math to figure out that efficiency. So for efficient combustion, we want to utilize the maximum amount of BTUs. The prior slide, I showed you what that maximum amount of BTUs per weight, per gallon, per pound, per ton would equate to. We want to be able to get to use all those BTUs that the fuel has available with just enough air, not too much air, but just enough air for complete burning without causing or creating incomplete combustion or excessive excess air. So here you go, as I mentioned before, air is composed of approximately 21% oxygen and 79% nitrogen. There's a lot more in that, and that's coming up. So what do we need to figure out? We need to be able to figure out and document how much air, and can you even adjust that air? High efficiency heating equipment today doesn't give you the ability to adjust air most times. We're adjusting just for fuel. The air is adjusted, especially on modulating equipment. The air is automatically adjusted depending on the modulation rate. Excess, why? There is always excess air. Why do we need excess? We're going to talk about that in pretty good detail. Draft type, positive draft, negative draft. We have both in our industry today. Intake combustion air, especially on more modern high efficiency equipment. We're doing direct vent and direct intake today. So intake combustion air is extremely important. Remember how important that air is to combine with that fuel properly. Fuel gas exhaust temperatures. That's a unit that we use to make the equation and do the math to be able to know what our efficiency is, but also to let us know how our combustion is doing. How good is that flame? So there's oxygen at 20.9%. That's what's in our air that we breathe. So when you first turn on your analyzer and it's doing an ambient air level, not temperature, but level, you will see that number come up darn close to 20.9. That's the amount of oxygen in the air that the analyzer is taking the sample of, in ambient air, that is. And nitrogen, 79.1. But moving to the right, you see how much other stuff is in our air. Besides nitrogen and oxygen, we've got argon, xenon, neon, hydrogen, helium, krypton. And looking at the bottom one, carbon dioxide. We're going to be talking a lot about carbon dioxide for the rest of our time together, because that's actually the parameter that many boiler manufacturers utilize to make sure that your combustion is proper while you're doing the combustion analysis. So for combustion testing and analysis, for the testing part, we need to know the draft. Are we going to measure that draft? Well, on modern heating equipment, it's important to know that the draft is proper, especially on direct vent systems. Chimneys, and there it is, proper direct vent installation. CO, carbon monoxide. Here's some of the magic to all of this. Carbon monoxide is a measured figure, so that figure is actually measured directly in the combustion analyzer, and it uses a carbon monoxide detector and carbon monoxide ventilator to be able to come up with that measured figure. Intake combustion air. Yep, I know that you guys are saying, well, you're never really measuring intake combustion air. Well, you know what? You can. And with the TPI analyzer, the TPI DC710, you certainly can, and it's nice and easy to do. And you'll see that in an upcoming video. O2, oxygen. O2 is a measured figure. And how does it do that? The device uses an O2 sensor to be able to get that figure in percent. CO2, which means carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a calculated figure. I don't really know of any combustion analyzers other than real high-end industrial type analyzers that use a CO2 or a carbon dioxide detector or sensor. Most of them are using a calculated CO2 figure. And we take that calculation by knowing what the carbon monoxide is, the oxygen is, and the excess air. And it becomes a calculated figure. We also need to know what flue gas temperatures are. That also, it not only does it help for efficiency, but it also helps to know if we're running rich, if we're running lean. And a higher flue gas temperature can be the definition of what may be going wrong, or a real low flue gas temperature. Ambient air temperature. Ambient air is the air surrounding us, what we breathe, what's around us as we're working. Combustion efficiency. You notice I kind of put that pretty low down on the list. I understand that we're all looking for the highest efficiency so we can go back to the customers and show them that printout and show them how well they're doing efficiency-wise. But keep in mind, we will trade off an efficiency point or two for safety. We will always do that. I've never heard of a manufacturer that won't want you to do that. They all want you to be safe. And on the oil side, we're also testing for smoke, and we do that with a smoke pump in the flue stack. With TPI, we also have results for ambient CO. And why do I say that? Why did I put a big thumbs up next to it? The TPI DC710 is able to take test samples of ambient carbon monoxide, ambient meaning the air that's around us and that we breathe, and CO meaning carbon monoxide. So the DC710 is a free air carbon monoxide detector as well. You're going to see in the upcoming video where I'm actually just holding a flue probe connected to the analyzer, and we have a reading of the carbon monoxide that's surrounding me and that boiler room. Perfect combustion. Is there anything called, or is there such a thing as perfect combustion, or is it really a myth? Well, truth is, we haven't achieved perfect combustion in our world yet, and that's due to a lot of factors. Perfect combustion is termed as stoichiometric. Yes, stoichiometric. Perfect combustion is simply a mixture of fuel and oxygen, with both being completely consumed in the burning process. We never do that, and this is why. The ideal situation would be to provide just enough air in the combustion chamber to ensure complete burning of the fuel, so that just enough air comes up again. Earlier you saw a slide that said without excessive excess air. Well, we're kind of handcuffed there. We're always going to have some excess air. Any excess air means that we haven't gotten to the stoichiometric level, meaning perfect. So neither do we have the fuel, air, or combustion chambers to achieve perfect, known as stoichiometric combustion. I hope in my day, before I'm done, that we do get to see 100% combustion. Not sure that we ever will. It depends on the fuel, and it depends on the design of combustion chambers. Also, our air has a bit to do with it as well. So not being able to achieve stoichiometric or perfect combustion, that's why we're seeing high efficiency fuel combustion ratings of 89%, 93%, 95%, and slightly higher. So here we are with the TPI analyzer. TPI Analyzer is a Bluetooth analyzer. What does Bluetooth mean? That means it connects communication-wise via any Bluetooth receiving device. Most of our smartphones, if not all, are Bluetooth receiving devices. Many of our laptops are. In fact, at home, I actually have a desktop computer that now is also Bluetooth enabled. So we're going to be able to make that connection between our analyzer, your smartphone, utilizing your smartphone as the Bluetooth device, a laptop, a tablet, basically any Bluetooth enabled device. We have several kits available for TPI. When I say kits, that's also in your handout, so make sure that you do a printout of that handout. There's 4 kits presently available with slightly different additions to it, from plain vanilla all the way up to kits that we put together here at Rath Associates with the help of TPI, with some other Bluetooth devices besides the combustion analyzer. And that's going to all be in your handouts. So let's talk about the TPI DC710 Bluetooth Combustion Analyzer. We're able to do real-time analysis. It's not anything that you can cheat on, guys. It's real-time analysis because there's a clock in it. There's also several other ways to prove that you are where you are and that you're testing that device at that time. Readings show simultaneously on your screen being your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet. We can see several different readings all at the same time. When we're really trying to dial in combustion perfection or combustion analysis and adjustments, we'll look at several factors, maybe not just CO2, but we may look at excess air. We may look at air temperatures as well. The device is truly compact and rugged. Take my word on that. I don't want to say I've beaten that device up, but I haven't been gentle with it at times, and it shows its stuff. It certainly takes a beating. The device, meaning the DC710, is rechargeable via USB and or an AC adapter. So if you have a USB connector and or charging setup in your truck, in your car, the device can be charged directly there because it does charge via USB. There's also an included AC adapter that you can plug into the wall. The device is multi-fuel, as you saw earlier, liquid fuels, wood fuels, all different types of fuels. For oil, one of the kits offers you a carbon filter that's already attached to the incoming tubing prior to the analyzer's probe. Communication, yeah, it is a communicating device. It communicates via Bluetooth, as I said, with your cell phone, laptop, etc. It's a Wi-Fi device. And how does it work Wi-Fi-ly, if I'm allowed to say that? You're actually going to get a GPS location as part of your analysis, as part of your printout, as part of your file. So it knows where you are, and that's done via Wi-Fi. You can print with this device. You're going to be seeing in a slide or two ahead of us a Bluetooth printer that also connects directly with your Bluetooth device, meaning cell phone and such. You can email direct, meaning you can email directly from the customer's home. So let's say you're finished with your combustion analysis. Maybe you've printed for yourself, your office, and or to stick inside of the boiler for future reference. You can also email the customer. You can email your office. You can email yourself. I do that all the time when I'm out doing service work and combustion analysis. I'll make a print, but I'll also email, and I'll email here to my office. They can attach that to the customer's file. I'll also email to myself. I'll carbon copy myself, and maybe anybody else here at Rath Associates that needs that email. So that can be sent anywhere to anyone. And as I said, you can also make a file of it. The files are not loaded and or stored on the device, meaning the combustion analyzer. The files are loaded and stored on the TPI free application. I've got several, and it works great that way. And I can reference it at any time. I've already had to go back 3 or 4 years to look at something that was done. And there it is, still in that file, still in that place. So let's talk about the importance of why you must perform a combustion analysis. Number one, combustion safety, absolutely. Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas, and carbon monoxide is a byproduct of anything combustible. And presence of high carbon dioxide can be dangerous as well. Carbon dioxide is the output of combustion. Remember what we do. We breathe in oxygen as humans. We exhaust carbon dioxide as humans. Plants, house plants, take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. That's the natural procession of things. Also, why must you perform combustion analysis? Well, environmental reasons. CO2 plus NOx, and NOx is nitrous oxide. CO2 plus NOx equals all bad stuff. Nothing good about that. That creates greenhouse effect gases. That's depleting our ozone layer. It's doing lots of things to our environment that is potentially destructive. And also efficiency. Efficiency equals dollars. Absolutely. We want to get the most bang for the buck. We want to get the most BTU for the gallon, the most BTU for the pound, etc. Without this device, you're only guessing. Without a combustion analyzer, you're guessing, and I will guarantee you your guesses are going to be wrong. So the analyzer is of utmost importance. Besides that, here you're seeing a startup checklist or startup report from a manufacturer. The manufacturer do require startup reports that include combustion analysis and testing. And that's also for the manufacturer's warranty. So without that, you may be in some trouble. And how are you going to prove that you did do a proper startup with combustion analysis? And the only way to prove that is by your output from your combustion analyzer. After you've made all of your adjustments and you've finalized your adjustments, you're now going to print out and or email and or file a combustion analysis report. So proof of the testing is usually in the form of an analyzer printout or a facsimile of there. And here's another company large that we actually represent. Manufacturers do require startup reports that include combustion analysis and testing. That's not only on the commercial and industrial side, but that's now becoming very popular on the residential side, guys, as well. In addition to that, let's talk about local jurisdiction. You're a local inspector. More and more local jurisdictions are requiring startup reports in a sense, meaning that they need to see the combustion analysis printout and or report before you get in your final inspection. I know that hasn't happened in a lot of different locales. Here on Long Island, we've got lots of different local jurisdictions, and more every day are starting to require that. So be aware, without that, you may not get your final inspection. Plus, it's the proper thing to do. It's the right thing to do for safety for your customer and for the equipment. So here we go, and you see that flipping around stop sign. This I pulled directly out of a manufacturer's IO manual and installation manual. And it says for your safety, this product must be installed and serviced by a professional service technician, qualified in hot water boiler and heater installation and maintenance. Improper installation and or operation could create carbon monoxide gas in flue gases, which could cause serious injury, property damage, and or death. So improper installation and or operation will void the warranty. More and more manufacturers are starting to pay attention to this. You'll see this warning in every manufacturer's IO manual, installation manual, and even some repair manuals. So what are they telling you? Without doing it properly, we may not honor your warranty. And in addition to that, they may not back you. They may not cover you, meaning that if a horrible lawsuit ensues, well, you're on your own. If you've done that combustion analysis and you have proof of it, it's almost your get out of jail free card in a sense. Plus, you're doing the right thing. So the TPI DC710 analyzer, you'll see it there hanging on the side of a boiler. It operates via remotely via Bluetooth. It uses your smartphone or tablet. There is a free TPI app. That free TPI app can be downloaded from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and also directly and right on TPI's website. The app doesn't take a whole lot of room on your phone, and it's amazing. It's a very powerful app. There's lots of things to it. So there's no longer a need for long probes or hoses. You can be at the burner with your smartphone while the DC710 does the work at the stack. How's that happening? Well, the device is going to hang by that hook and or a very powerful magnet that you'll be seeing in a moment, right on the boiler, right near the flue. Well, where's your screen? Your screen is in your hand at your cell phone, and it's working Bluetooth. Bluetooth has a very, very long and powerful and strong distance, so you don't need to be right up on that analyzer. Unlike one-handed analyzers or analyzers of old, you had to be at the stack. You had to be standing there. Well, what if you wanted to make adjustments while you're looking? Well, you can't because the burner's at the other side of the boiler. So here, the only thing that's in your hand or placed near you or maybe magnetically backed onto the front of a boiler or burner is your cell phone. And that cell phone is the TPI Bluetooth app. So you're seeing it in real live time. You can actually make an adjustment and see that adjustment happen and the results from that adjustment immediately on your Bluetooth device. So there we go again. The free TPI app provides on-site reports, which can instantly be emailed and stored, saved into a file, as well as printed. There is a 24-hour real-time clock. My boss, Donald Rath, would rather it be 25 hours or 48 hours in a day. So there's a 24-hour real-time clock and GPS location for accuracy and honest documentation. Why do I say honest documentation? Those of us that have been in this industry as long as I have, we found out ways to cheat, unfortunately. This device, you cannot cheat. It knows where you are, GPS location. It knows the day and time you're taking this test. And it gets all of the results, and you cannot cheat the results no matter how hard you try, nor would you want to. We're talking about safety. We're talking about human lives here at points. There's also a powerful magnetic and or hook mount. You saw that earlier. And as I said earlier, durable, rugged, and a sealed housing. I mentioned that my device does take a beating and keeps on ticking. So with that easy to use smartphone app, you're going to save time with documentation. Smartphone app allows easy documentation that you can share with your customer in a number of different ways. So you are reducing paperwork, and most importantly for all of us, my gosh, are we saving time? It's very, very quick. So to be able to print, you can print via Bluetooth with the TPI printer. That TPI printer also works with other TPI Bluetooth devices. TPI has a wonderful array of other Bluetooth and or what we call smart devices that work via Bluetooth, not just the analyzer. So this printer can work with all of them. There's the printer. You can see how small it is in that gentleman's hand. The Bluetooth printer is used in conjunction with the app, not necessarily directly to the device, but along with the app. So the same app and the same printer can work for other TPI smart devices. You're not tied to a cord. You're not tied to being, 12 inches away from your analyzer. That use an IR type of way of communicating from the analyzer to the printer. This is completely Bluetooth. So your phone is your hub and or your Bluetooth device is your hub. You can send reports. You can send several reports right to the printer. You may get to the point where you're looking on your analyzer, you're in front of a burner, you turn in that screwdriver, you like those numbers, they all look good, print. And then at some other point, you may say, well, let me make another adjustment. Well, your analyzer is still running. Your printer is still there. You can make any adjustment you want, print as many times as you want, and file as many times as you want. The Bluetooth printer, the Bluetooth printer is operated using batteries or a power adapter that's included with it. Those are throwaway batteries, disposable batteries. The power adapter, of course, can be plugged into a wall like any other adapter. It'll indicate that it's switched on via a little LED indicator that's on that printer. You'll see that in a moment. And it starts up with a self-test, and that self-test is basically testing the printer's internals all by themselves. Also that you have the paper inserted right, and that your battery percentage and or your charge is good enough. It's a real practical instrument. It adds to your own efficiency. It adds to your company's efficiency. And you're going to be able to print the results and continue to perform all your measurements. It's not like you have to stop. So how easy is it to do? Well, combustion analysis can be easy depending on the device that you're using. So what we talk about with TPI is easy as 1, 2, 3. Connect, measure, and manage. There you see that smartphone in that gentleman's hand, the TPI device hanging from the boiler, the combustion analyzer hanging from the boiler, and its flue probe attached into the flue pipe. So what do? You connect your device, a smartphone or a tablet or Android or iPhone, with that TPI free app. Then you select the instrument, comes up right up on your cell phone screen, if that's what you're using. You select the instrument that you'd like to use from the list of available TPI tools that you may have, and those are the smart tools. You're going to be able to measure and view the readings. Test results are easy to understand, which they are. They're also nice big lettering, so when you get old like me and your eyes don't focus so well, not a problem. It's on your phone. You're able to see those numbers clearly. And thirdly, we can manage the data. Managing data today has become a full-time business. Every report created using the TPI Analyzer is color-coded. It also includes the data, the date and time, your GPS location. So as I said earlier, you can easily save, email, print, file, however you like to. All right, at this point, I'm going to advance to a video that we've taken here at Rath Associates, and that video will walk you through the application and a combustion analysis that we do live fire here at Rath Associates. So sit back and enjoy the video. It's not very long. In this video, I want to introduce you to the Test Products International TPI DC710 Combustion Analyzer. This is a Bluetooth analyzer. This Bluetooth analyzer is going to hook up with your cell phone, laptop, tablet, however you will be able to make that Bluetooth connection. The DC710 analyzer is a combustion analyzer utilized in setting up for combustion testing, and combustion analysis for heating equipment. On my phone, I've downloaded the TPI main menu for the View application, and that's available on the App Store from Apple, Google Play, and/or TPI's website. Once that application is downloaded, this is the menu that you'll be seeing. So here we're going to get ready to do this combustion analysis. So my device is on and powered, and I'm going to go ahead and search for that device. The device comes up as DC710. Underneath it, you'll also see a 3-digit identification number. That 3-digit identification number can be seen on the back of the TPI device right next to its serial number. We're going to go ahead and press that device, and it's going to link. So this link is from Bluetooth from my phone to this device. And as you can see, all of our applications are now in operation. We're getting ready to go ahead and start a combustion analysis, but prior to that, according to the manufacturer's instructions and directions, we should be doing a proper pre-purge of our test equipment. Many manufacturers require this. TPI is one of those manufacturers. Doing that pre-purge, it should not be done in the mechanical room or in the boiler room. It should be done in a fresh air environment. So we've already completed that pre-purge, and now we're going to go ahead and hook up our sample probe. Our sample probe also has a condensate or water trap filter, and I also have a carbon filter on there. That carbon filter would be utilized for oil work when you're doing the combustion analysis on oil burners and oil boilers.
The end of this probe has an electrical connection. Next to that electrical connection is also a tubing connection. That tubing connection is where those combustion samples are coming in from. The electrical connection is for temperature. You can actually think of this as nothing more than a glorified thermometer. So we're going to go ahead and plug that into our device, paying attention to positive and negative, and then go ahead and hook up our hose connection. We'll press that button to the on position. We'll power that analyzer up, and we'll get ready for our combustion analysis. The device also has a very, very heavy magnet in it. So this device can hang from anything metallic. We always do suggest that. Side of the boiler, or we can also use a hook. And that's a pipe hook that can be placed on any piece of pipe or any sturdy foundation. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that combustion analysis. We're going to take our probe. I'm going to put our probe into the combustion analysis port provided to you by the boiler manufacturer or your vent material manufacturer. So here you're seeing a real live demonstration, which is a real live application of a combustion analysis. At the very top of my application on my phone, you see the DC710 with the serial number next to it. Underneath that, you actually see the date and the clock time. Battery percentage, that battery percentage is not the battery percentage of your phone or your tablet. That is the battery percentage of the DC710 device after you've charged it. Next to that, you see fuel type. Fuel type can be selected by pressing that drop down arrow. As you see, there's natural gas, light oil, heavy oil, and all of the other fuels, either liquid fuels or solid fuels. So here we're going to be doing a natural gas application. We're going to select natural gas and press done. So at this point, we're getting ready to take a combustion analysis. Underneath that, you see create report. We're going to be using that a little later, and start pump. That is the pump on the device. So we're going to go ahead and press start pump. And that pump starts up. Here on the application, you're going to be seeing some of those parameters changing. So at the very top, while we're waiting for that, it says carbon monoxide, 0 parts per million. Underneath that, as you're seeing the rise, is carbon dioxide. CO air-free, this is an air-free CO device, so we can take carbon monoxide readings in an open environment, and that's what's known as air-free. That you'll be seeing coming up. Please be patient with the analyzers. They do take time to take those samples through the pump and display them on your applications. Underneath that, you're seeing 20.2 oxygen level. We start with a 20% or a 20% oxygen level normally, and we're seeing excess air, temperature readings. So at this point, we're going to allow our device to take those samples, and we'll be looking at those in just a moment. So here, as you see on the screen of my cell phone, we're taking live combustion analysis reading. Please set up your boiler, your furnace, your heating plant as per your manufacturer's instructions for parameters. Here we're looking at the very top of the way I like my screen set up. Is carbon monoxide at the top, carbon dioxide below it. Then you see CO, air-free, an oxygen level. That oxygen level, of course, is what's in the stack. Excess air, also in the stack. Temperature probe 1, since we only have one probe hooked up, we're seeing temperature probe 1 showing us what the stack temperature is. The internal temperature also means ambient air temperature. If you wanted to, on the TPI device, you can hook up any K-type thermocouple to probe number 2. That would be port number 2 in the device. Moving further on, you see the temperature difference and then a net efficiency, or if you click on it, you'll see that change to a gross efficiency. On our boiler for this application and this combustion analysis, we're doing a domestic water call. So that's why you're seeing that efficiency at 89.51. It's just a domestic water call. After you've performed your combustion analysis and all of your adjustments according to your heating manufacturer's requirements, all of their parameters, we now want to go ahead and save or create a report. And that report can be created by pressing the Create Report button. It'll now come up with a GPS location as to where you physically are, and it's asking you for a report reference. So I'm going to call this reference Test 2. I believe I already have a Test 1. So there is Test 2 as you're seeing on the screen of the cell phone. Test 2 shows up a reference ID, your DC710 serial number, last calibration date, next due calibration date. Manufacturer requires that you get your device calibrated and adjusted annually once a year. There's your date and time taken, 6/7, that's today's date, 9/25/14 a.m. Your fuel type under fuel gas analysis report, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon CO air free, oxygen O2, excess air, temperature probe 1, remember that was in the stack, internal temperature, which is ambient air temperature, the temperature difference between stack temperature and ambient air, and then your gross efficiency and or your net efficiency for what you've chosen. So I'm going to go ahead and, as you're seeing now, I'm going to save that to a job, and I'm going to add the job. Some important information that you will need will be job ID, customer name, address, town, city, zip code, and so forth, and an email address. So I'm going to go ahead and call this job ID Test 2. That's what we originally referenced it as. I'm going to skip the customer name and address. You're going to input your customer name, address. But for us, I'm just going to put in an email. And that email can be anything. Let's make that email our own email here at Rath, which is info@rath.com. By the way, you can use that email for any additional info that you may need from us, and we'll be happy to take that email and respond back to you. So I'm going to save all of that information, and that information now shows up at the very bottom of my long list, which says Test 2. Once we have all of that information, we can choose what we want to do with it. And we'll go to Test 2. There is the report Create. Once your job is saved under a job management report, you've assigned a name or an ID to that particular job, as well as an email address. You're going to back out of that. You're going to back out of that and go back into the TPI main view menu. And under job management, you're going to see two.
So I just wanted to pause this video for a moment. I want to show you what else and what other goodies we actually have up on the TPI main menu. And that would be job management, website for TPI, customer portal. A customer portal is information for you, not your customer. Settings, settings for your device itself. User guides. User guides are kind of cool. It's all inbred into the TPI main view menu, that free app. And boiler manuals. TPI is continually adding more and more manuals into this application. There's probably about 90 some odd boiler manuals, different manuals in there now. Gas rate, if you can clock a gas meter. Anything in gray has not been completed yet, but is being worked on by TPI. There's an energy converter down here, that energy converter, nice little handy device to have, and then about the menu. So I just wanted to show you what else is available on that TPI app. Let's go back and continue the video.
I want to view open jobs and add new jobs. Well, we've already created this job, so I want to view open jobs. And as you can see, I'm going to slide up and go to Test 2. At that point, we can do anything we want with this as far as view the report, email the report, we can make a file of the report, we can print the report. So here what I'm going to do is go to Test 2, and that is the combustion analysis performed with all of those parameters that you see. And here is where you get to choose. Do you want to email? Do you want to print? And there is the email ready to be sent away. So info@Rath, and I've also included my email address because I want to be carbon copied on it. And as you see on the phone, there is all of your information as a report all in one place. So at this point, I'm just going to cancel away from that because I'm not going to email to myself. And I'm going to go back to that report. Going back to the main menu, there is test 2, and we can look and see what other options we want to do. So at this point, we may want to print. It's going to find that Bluetooth printer, and it's going to print all at the same time. And look how quickly it does print. So now with all of our adjustments made, our combustion analysis report complete, either emailed, filed, printed, we now can go ahead and complete the combustion analysis video. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to remove the probe on the TPI DC710 and replace the test port plug. At that point, you'll allow your device to do a post purge as according to TPI, and you're done.
Okay, with the video complete, before we open it to questions, I just wanted to introduce you to the Rath Training Center, where we have 2 separate classrooms that are completely stocked and loaded, where we do live fire boiler combustion analysis training. And as Don mentioned earlier, we do trainings of all sorts, not only manufacturers specific product trainings, but we also do general trainings. Many of you have been to some of the trainings that we call Made Easy. And that's just basic electric for heating, combustion. We do near boiler piping. So there's a lot available for you. And you can find all that training on our website at rathassociates.com. There's the phone number, and there's all of the information. Before we leave you and get to some questions, I'd like to, there's the Rath Training Center. So if you click on Rath Training on the rathassociates.com website, it'll take you to that point of our website that you can schedule yourself for training, you can join classes, you can do almost anything there. All right, we're going to go to another little video clip. Please pay attention. This is something that's an industry newbie. It's wonderful. Please pay attention, and we'll answer some questions in a moment. Thank you.
With Connect Direct, you can have one of our technical support specialists on site with you in seconds. We can see what you see, show you manuals, drawings, and other useful information, and even mark up what you're looking at in real time. This service truly is a game changer and couldn't have come at a better time. No question is too small, no problem is too hard.
Okay, so I want to talk about the Direct Connect video clip that you just saw. We here at Rath Associates, we've been using that now quite extensively. How often does a tech want the manufacturer rep, maybe an engineer with them in the boiler room? And of course, now with COVID, that was not possible. Don't know when that'll be possible again. But with Direct Connect, we are with you in a boiler room virtually. We send you an invitation to join basically a Direct Connect connection. As you saw in the video, we're having you hold your cell phone, and that cell phone will be basically transmitting video to us. We're seeing it as you're seeing it in real time. We can also suggest to you where to move the video camera, what we want to see. So instead of saying, hey, imagine if you were to move your finger up and left and get to that little bolt. Well, now we don't need to do that anymore. We can actually circle, pinpoint, highlight where we want you at all times. And we'll be able to help you tremendously that way. So with this last slide up on the screen, Don, I think it's time to open up for some questions, and please stay with us. We'll answer all the questions you have. Thank you.
All right, great job, Ken. All right.
Thank you.
All right, so the first question, do you recommend using the gross or net efficiency for test reports?
Okay, that is going to be up to your manufacturer mostly, but the truth of the fact is I prefer net-net, and net-net is really something that the manufacturers will be using when they get their approvals, and they're also getting their total efficiencies. But the gross is going to be a lot more accurate for your entire heating system, not just what the fire is doing. So that would be the answer to that. You can use either. I would check with the boiler manufacturer, the burner manufacturer, as to what parameters they're going to have you use. For us, we use net-net.
All right, next question. You talked about calibration. How often does the analyzer need to be recalibrated?
Great question. All manufacturers, all combustion analyzer manufacturers require a recalibration of the device, a cleaning and or checking up of the O2 sensor, the oxygen sensor, as well as the carbon monoxide sensor. So recalibration is extremely important. And to answer that question, most, if not all, manufacturers require an annual recalibration, not only to make sure your device is recalibrated and proper, but earlier I spoke about, everybody wants to sue everybody else. And let's give an example of something that I hope should never happen to you. You're in a customer's house and you have operated, you've worked on the boiler, on the burner. You didn't do a combustion analysis report. You can't prove that when you left, things were bad, things weren't up to manufacturer specs. You get into trouble because, as the saying goes in our industry, the responsible party is the last man that touched it. So with this combustion analyzer, you're going to be able to prove that you did it. Now, part of that proof is also having your combustion analyzer recalibrated to factory standards as the factory and or the manufacturer requests. So, you know what, I've been in court a few times for this, working as an expert testifier, and there were a couple of very smart attorneys that said, well, okay, so you had your analyzer and you did the report, and I see the printout of the report, but when was the last time your analyzer was recalibrated? And unfortunately, that technician had mouth open and couldn't answer it because that device had not been recalibrated and it was over 3 or 4 years. So he lost that court case. So that's also an important factor. Quick answer, annually, every year.
All right. Does the DC710 have a built-in NOx filter, or would you need to add one externally?
Okay, it has a built-in NOx filter, and that NOx filter is actually part and parcel of its sensors. The other filter that you saw that called a condensate filter and or a water trap filter, that's completely replaceable, small little cotton wound filter. So to answer you completely, they work kind of together. The internal filter that's inside, or I should say the internal sensors filter, you're not going to touch or replace. That's going to be taken a look at annually during your recalibration period. But that small little white filter, which is available through your wholesaler, through us, that's going to be replaced depending on how many combustion analysis you've done. You're going to be able to see it dark and or wet. So hope that answers you correctly.
All right, next question. How far can the analyzer work from the phone or tablet?
Another great question. It's Bluetooth, guys. It is not Wi-Fi. It's Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a very powerful and strong connection. So you're only limited to the ability of your phone and or your Bluetooth receiving device. I've already been 30, 40 feet away and still receiving that Bluetooth connection from my analyzer. Here at Rath Associates, we did a test where I actually walked through the warehouse and I was almost out the back door, which is a couple of 100 feet. and I didn't lose the Bluetooth connection. So you can be pretty far away.
All right, awesome. Hey, just a reminder, if you have questions, please type them into that bubble on the right side. All right, next question. Electronic combustion analysis. I guess this is a myth or truth. Can they be left in the truck overnight?
Oh, great. Yes. Electronic combustion analyzers should not be left in your truck overnight. And I know that's a pain in the butt, guys, but what's happening? Any moisture, condensation. We have high levels of humidity. When it rains, you know how moist it can get. Well, that analyzer being in your truck overnight or in your car overnight, it's going to attract that moisture. It's going to attract that high humidity, and you don't want to do that. Personally, and here at Rath, the other tech support guys, we take our analyzers in from the car at night and we bring them back to the car in the morning. You'll get used to doing it. It's going to sit by your front door, and it's the first thing you grab on your way out. So please do not leave your combustion analyzers in your vehicle overnight, especially here locally, Long Island, New York, Northeast. Such tremendous changes in humidity levels that can create issues with that analyzer. But great question.
All right. Next question. Does Rath Associates have classes on combustion theory and actually hands-on adjustments on, I guess, these new high-efficiency boilers?
Yes, we surely do, and we love doing that for you guys. So I said earlier, we have two different classrooms. One classroom is a manufacturer-specific classroom, but the other classroom that we utilize is for everything. So we do combustion analysis testing. We do live fire combustion analysis. We're doing troubleshooting on modern heating equipment. You can take a look at our website to see the manufacturers that we represent. And we basically do training for every one of those manufacturers here locally in Farmingdale, Long Island, New York. In addition to that, we also do non-manufacturer specific training, where those are the basic courses like basic electric or basic near boiler piping. We do electric for the trade. We've got a whole bunch of courses. You can get on to the Rath Associates website, ratheaassoc.com, and click on that training tab, and it will give you a calendar of our upcoming trainings. Right now, because of COVID-19, we're doing this virtually online as a training, but as soon as we get back to that training center, we're going to be filled with a whole bunch of classes. And any classes that you may want, hey, give us a call. Send a note to support@Rath or info@rathassociates.com, and we can certainly consider putting classes together for you.
All right. This looks like you had the last question. And where can I purchase them?
You can purchase the TPI products through your wholesaler, through your plumbing supply. If your wholesaler does not inventory, maybe not have them on the shelf, no problem. We're right here. We have a full inventory of them. Rath Associates does not sell to the contractor. We sell through the wholesale network, but that's not an issue or a problem. You can go to your wholesaler, whoever or whatever supply house you may be using, ask them about the TPI product. You can call us here at Rath Associates. We can tell you he may have those in stock as far as a wholesaler, but if your wholesaler doesn't have them in stock, here at Rath Associates, that's never an issue. We can work that out with you, that you can even come here to pick it up through your wholesaler, maybe something as easy as a PO, but it's always sold through the wholesale network.
Okay. So, Ken, that's it. That's all the questions. So we just want to thank everyone for joining us today.
Yes, thank you all. And remember us here. We're here to help you. And as you see on that slide there, expect more and get it. Well, you can get it. We work for it. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.